We are live. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Today we
Hey.
begin/continue with Session 2, but Episode 1 of our GURPS Star Wars Vanguard campaign.
Because Nosh couldn't be bothered to be here. The nerve.
For those of you that are interested in the podcast, this will be made available as audio only, and the links will be at the bottom of our regular YouTube videos.
Which reminds me, we need to, actually say what we have rolled.
Yes, we should be more
We
wary
keep
of that.
forgetting about that.
Is there any character business from last session?
I don't have any. Not yet.
I have some. I have added, what the hell was it? Contact group family. So that is nihilist standard with the modifier of reciprocal, which effectively means that if they do something for me, I may owe them a favor.
And this is family, or is this people associated with the family?
So this is the family. Now how they arrange something or other is up to them. And the skill set here is a little vague, so it kind of depends on the situation. It's probably more favors than skills in that way. But
so would it be only family members, or would it be, elements of the business, family business?
Well, I would contact the family members, and they would make arrangements with the business or whatever. So where it might come from the business, but I will have contacted a family member in order to get there.
Okay.
But just FYI, I'm not going to use it this session, so you've got at least a week to wrap your head around the idea. I don't intend to use it this session.
All right.
I sprang it
So
on you.
your direct point of contact will be a family member. So that would be your mother at this point. Do you have siblings?
I have a large extended family all over the place.
All right,
Lots
not
of
a problem.
cousins.
Is there anyone else that's making any character stuff?
Nope.
All right, all good. Well, then we shall begin. This will be session 2. So we will have one more session where you are free to make random character changes.
Or 2 for Nosh.
Does 0.5 actually count against the grace period?
I'm easy.
Why wouldn't it?
I think 3 sessions, though, is enough to work out your character. Like I seem to recall, Luck didn't have intimidation and a few other things. You'd normally find those out in the first few sessions. But yeah, 3 sessions. On the 4th session, characters will be locked in. All right. We shall begin. We will first start with character introductions. Let's go with order of semi-rank. So we'll begin with Luck. Tell us your story.
Right. Hi, I'm Rigel. I'm playing RK0336, a former clone trooper who was decanted 2 years after the Battle of Naboo and joined the 336th Attack Battalion soon after the Clone Wars began. His designation of 0336 was seen as a lucky charm for the members of the 336th, which ultimately led to him gaining the nickname Luck. During the war, he lost an eye, which was replaced by a cybernetic implant. And when Order 66 was executed, he participated in eliminating the Jedi Knight attached to the 336th. And as a part of the recon kinetic assets, hence the RK, he was then deployed to hunt down the fleeing Padawan. But during the hunt, his damaged inhibitor chip failed completely. It had been damaged previously when he lost his eye. And despite having a clear shot at the Padawan, Luck did not take it and later reported to senior command that he had confirmed said Padawan's death. His unit would later be redesignated the 336 Stormtrooper Battalion, and he continued to serve for 9 standard months before finally deserting following a routine pacification operation that turned into a massacre. He has spent the last 15 years fighting as an insurgent in one group of would-be rebels after another.
Very good. I guess the next in rank is Bosco, who was essentially initially recruited by Kalen Brie, your resistance contact. Bosco, what's your story?
Yes, I'm FX Engineer. I'll be playing Bosco. And Bosco is a human. His family, he was born into a separatist sympathizer family on Phantine. And their business is pharmaceuticals and doctors, they're a family of physicians and medical supplies and pharmaceuticals and other medical products. During the war, his brother was killed by an imperial officer, and he already had anti-imperial sentiments. This pretty much cemented his hate for the empire, and he's pretty much kind of a black sheep of the family. His family sort of wants to keep the status quo, but Bosco has taken it upon himself. He pretty much took his inheritance, and he did actually graduate as a doctor, so he is a doctor pharmacist, but he took his money from the family. He still has his ties, and he runs operations for the rebellion on the side through his contact, Kalen Brie. He does have an interest in, it just kind of was ingrained into him to make money and be wealthy and successful. His way of doing that is he has developed a bunch of contacts in different factions, smuggling and selling pharmaceutical and medical supplies. So that's how he makes his money and his day job. But he has become more and more involved with the rebellion.
Cool.
Yep.
Let's continue down the line. Next is Nim. What's your story?
I am Gigerman, and I am playing Nim Shola, who is a Duros, a Phantine local raised in a large extended family. His father owned a junkyard catering mostly to speeders and small craft, where Nim worked since he was able to wield tools. Pa had ties to a local criminal gang, and the scrapyard often served as a chop shop. As a result, Nim grew up in the criminal underworld and was employed as a thief from an early age. He recently got pinched by Novasek as a result of a heist gone wrong and did time in the mines. During his incarceration, his father was killed by Imperial officers while participating in a riot believed to have been agitated by the gangs in response to a recent crackdown on organized crime. Ma took over running the yard in Pa's absence, and Nim was recently released from prison after around 2 years and is now working in the yard trying to keep his head down.
Cool.
I don't think that's going to work.
We shall move on to Tina. What's your story?
Hey, I'm Mel. I'm playing Tina, Tiny Crankshaft. Tina has always had a knack with mechanical things, ships, droids, weapons, you name it. At a young age, she was apprenticed for a small mechanic shop on the only planet she'd ever known, and made a name for herself at being able to keep engines and even the worst shapes somehow running. She pretty much had a relatively comfortable life, fairly carefree. She lived with her mom, but one day, her mother was gunned down in crossfire by Imperial soldiers who had showed up on a tip that there was a Jedi hiding out on the planet. In her last breaths, her mother told Tina of the Force, being a Padawan and the supposed one-eyed clone who spared her life a long time ago on Phantine. She begged Tina to seek him out for help and gave her a bag with her broken training saber, and Tina hopped the next ship heading anywhere in the galaxy searching for the clone. So Tina is now on Phantine, and as fate would have it, so is the clone. She managed to secure a spot on the team, but she doesn't trust him all the way yet. She might tell him one day, though.
Maybe.
Force works in mysterious ways. All right. Finally, Darrell.
Hello, I'm Nosh. I'm playing Darrell or Darryl. You can decide how you want to pronounce it, if you dare. Darrell earned his pilot's wings during the Clone Wars, first as a navigator and then as a co-pilot, running a variety of missions against separatists. He saw action in the Outer Rim sieges, ferrying Republican troops into Hot LZs. Here he was finally recognized for his excellence in piloting craft into and out of hot spots. When Order 66 dropped and chaos ensued, Darrell found himself fleeing the Grand Army's immediate reach and escaping with other pilots, navigators, aircrew, and soldiers to anywhere relatively safe. As word spread of the Empire's enslavement of Wookiees, Darrell fled into the Outer Rim territories, an area with which he was familiar, working in various roles as a pilot navigator for hire and avoiding Imperial trouble, even as his work brought him into contact with pirates, bounty hunters, and smugglers. Eventually, he found himself piloting and navigating for various shady enterprises into the Mid-Rim territories. Eventually, he found himself in Phantine, where his last employer refused to pay him on his contract. However, he's hoping he will find a new contract soon. And that is that.
Also, he tore his arms off.
Good. Now deliver that in Sherry Wook. No, don't.
Here's the condensed version.
Nice. Who in the group can actually understand Wookiee?
I think he just told you to shut the fuck up.
Luck speaks it or understands it at accented.
Tina knows it at broken.
I have a
And
translator.
Bosco at Broken.
All right, so everyone can understand in some form or the other. All right, a quick brief on the campaign setting. This is more for the benefit of the audience, as the characters have already got all this information. The campaign will take place in the system of Phanta on the planet Phantine. I should have had these images up.
Come on, GM.
Phantine is in the Chummel sector of the Mid-Rim planets. The Phanta system itself consists of a solitary red giant star at its solar center. Then we have 5 orbital bodies. They are Oberella, Phantine, an asteroid belt, which is a failed planet, Lokia, and Asakura, both gas giants, or a gas giant and ice giant, respectively. Phantine itself
Hot garbage.
was once nice. Its geography is characterized predominantly by extensive mountain ranges. The surface of the planet was once habitable, but it has been devastated by centuries of unchecked industrialization. This was first under the Trade Federation, and then following the fall of the Republic, the Separatists, then it was taken over by the Empire, and little has changed. Due to the fact that, the primary resource of Phantine is the mineral or ore Macoxite. Macoxite is, when refined, is a important component in the construction of starships, hulls and such. Gives starships starship hulls extra strength, which is vital for the massive ships that roam the galaxy. One of the problems with mining of Macoxite is that it releases a toxic gas, and it is this toxic gas which has, over the centuries, turned the surface of Phantine into an uninhabitable wasteland. You cannot traverse the surface without rebreathers. Miners in the Phantine mines, I'll bring up an image. The miners must wear, sophisticated breathing equipment. For if they don't, they will surely succumb to the environment. Previously, the mines were, when under the control of the Trade Federation, droids were the predominant workforce in the mines. But with the arrival of the Empire, while some droids still exist, the Empire has put to work its prison labour force. One of the punishments is certainly to go work in the mines. With the surface of Phantine being toxic, cities have steadily progressed into the tops of the mountain ranges to get out of the low-lying toxic gases. The cities themselves are quite run down. They employ environmental shields which will protect the cities from toxic acid rain or toxic rains and such. However, these shields are not always reliable, and on occasion will fail, causing contamination of or short-term contamination of these cities.
All that skin cancer is good for doctors, though.
Yes, Bosco's family does really well. The Chommel sector is controlled by Moff Quash Panaka.
I think we should assassinate him.
This gentleman, for those that may not be aware, he was actually the guard / bodyguard, captain of the guard for Queen Amidala on Naboo during the Phantom Menace and Clone Wars episodes, I believe. He rose up through the ranks of the Empire due to his close relationship with Emperor Palpatine. He has appointed an administrator to the planet Phantine. This gentleman, Ares Kratal, he oversees the operations or the Imperial interests on the planet. And he makes sure that the mines continue to produce, as a disruption in the mining of Macoxite will cause all sorts of problems in the supply chain for the Empire. Ares Kratal has a senior Imperial Army officer under his command, Dariel Vanguard. She commands all the Imperial forces, which are made up of both Imperial Army and a detachment of Imperial Stormtroopers. Also on Phantine by law, the Empire has dictated that Phantine is not permitted to have any sort of defense, security, or police force. As such, the security and policing of Phantine, when not handled by the Empire itself, is done via a private security company, and this is Novasec. Novasec officers are made up of both local people on Phantine and also off-world employees. The local Novasec officers, they tend to be a lot more friendly to, or carry out their duties in a much more civil manner than those that are off-world. And I believe that basically covers it. Absolutely.
Just in regards to the Novasec Corporation, are they, I know you sort of answered it, but are they more like, is this a job for them, or are they like typically like really loyal to the Empire type of people?
Well, they are under contract by the Empire. So the Empire contract Novasec to police the populace, the day-to-day policing of Phantine. If things get out of hand, Novasec will usually call in the Imperials to take care of stuff that is outside their their ability to control. It is a job. So from the command structure of Novasec, they are loyal to the Empire. If the Empire says jump, they jump because that's who's paying their bills. Like I said, the population of Novasec officers that are Phantine locals, they tend to be a lot more lenient on the local population and try and conduct their job without, causing harm or undue stress on the local populace. Those that have been employed from off-world don't really care, and they tend to be, far less forgiving. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
The one other thing: the lower levels of the cities in Phantine are somewhat structured by class. The higher up you go, the wealthier the demographic. The lower you are in the cities, since they're built on mountains, the more lower level the demographic. So in the lower levels of the city, there's a lot of crime. There are gangs that vie for power all the time. They try and conduct their business as best they can without calling the attention of the Empire, because they realize if the Empire get involved, then it's generally bad news for them. And for the most part, the Empire don't really care about the gangs and crime syndicates and whatnot, as long as it doesn't disrupt the flow of Macoxit. Oh, I should actually point out.
Did you ever actually spell that for us?
Spell Macoxit? I may have. Just show this image first. The characters will all be residents of the capital of Phantine, which is Minerva.
I would say resident. Or
Well, resident. Coxit is spelt as follows.
MXCX.
in chat.
It's not Welsh.
Minerva is the largest settlement on Phantine. It is also the capital, and it is a hub of activity for the planet. This includes government buildings, and it is the headquarters of the Imperial administration here on Phantine. There are two other notable settlements. They are called Skyreach and High Spire. Each city on Phantine is a city-state, and they have their own local governments, and those local governments sit on the board of directors for the mining operation. Aries Kratal is the chair of that board. He is a unelected chair, while the various other board members or representatives from the cities of Phantine, they are elected officials from the local populace, or democratically elected. Not necessarily uncorrupt elections, but they are elected. I believe that covers everything, all the background. Any questions?
Not yet.
Also, if people can just keep an eye on the chat, the stream chat, because I've got so many windows open. My attention is elsewhere.
That sounds like an excuse.
I think we actually had a calendar, did we not?
We had that discussion, I think.
We had
and,
that discussion, but we didn't actually move on it.
I think you just opted to use whatever was handy.
Which would be the traveler calendar.
I might revisit that during the week. It's not particularly important at the moment.
If you remember.
If I remember. All right, so Bosco, you have a communicator, which your contact, this guy,
Kalen Brie.
yes, Kalen Brie, he indicates to you that he is en route to Phantine and wishes to talk business regarding some medical supplies. You, of course, know this is purely a cover. Whenever he contacts you, it's because he either has some information or has something that he would like you guys to look into.
Do we have? I'm sure we have like some sort of standard thing or place or protocol that I would follow when I get that message.
You do?
Yeah, that was something that we meant to discuss and forgot to discuss.
Well, there was some discussion about it. I think I mentioned you could possibly flip a sign. There was some other things I can't remember off the top of my head.
Send in a song request to the local radio station.
Well, that's right. Put up a post on Facebook or something.
I don't have Facebook. That's a terrible idea.
MySpace then.
Yeah, he's a hobo.
I'm a hobo. I have literally everything I own in a bag or wearing.
So he will. You will know that he has a regular meeting place, which is a abandoned warehouse, which he will often use to speak with you.
I see he inspired Bosco.
What? There's nothing wrong with abandoned warehouses. They're great.
He did not indicate whether he wanted to speak to just you or the team, so it's up to you whether you notify the rest of the team.
I think Bosco will reach out to Luck.
Well, it's not like I have a lot going on, right?
Well, he will definitely let Luck know. I think he looks at you as the de facto leader of the group. Even, I have like the contact part of it, but he sort of looks to you for the leadership. So even if I do go by myself, he will at least let you know that I have contact, and I will
Nah,
use code words as well.
Luck will go with.
It's not like he has something better to do.
It's always good to have somebody you're watching your back.
So Luck will step away from the pod races.
Something like that.
All right, so Bosco and Luck, you will both go to the this abandoned warehouse where you will see Kalen Brie sort of leaning up against the walls. His arms are crossed, and he is just waiting in the sort of shadows of this place. He sees you arrive, steps out of the shadows, and says, "Bosco, it is good to see you again. And you too, Luck. I trust
And
everything."
Bosco says, "Ah!"
"I didn't see you." He says, "I trust that all things are going well."
Everything's good on my side, Kalen. I don't believe we've been followed. We've been very careful.
Good. You will see that he pulls out a data pad, checks it for a moment, then says, "It looks clear."
Until it's not.
He says, "I've come on short notice for some rather urgent business, and I'm hoping to enlist the aid of your team. Some days ago, a group of pirates known as the Crimson Corsairs attacked a passenger transport, the Serenity Star. On board the Serenity Star is an individual which is sympathetic to our cause. It's not really known as to why the pirates attacked, and the actions of the pirates are certainly a little unusual, since they sought to destroy the Serenity Star instead of capture her, take hostages, ransoms, goods, or anything like that. Their mission was to destroy. They succeeded in destroying the Serenity Star, and the passengers were forced to flee into escape pods. Fortunately, an Imperial cruiser, the Ashfall, responded to the Serenity Star's mayday and managed to arrive in time to drive off the pirates before they had destroyed all the escape pods. Our contact, you'll see that he'll look down to his data pad again, and he'll be checking. And if you want to make a perception roll, you can.
Yeah, I will do. Can I do observation? Because I'm watching him very carefully.
Yep, that's fine.
If that's appropriate.
So both of you will see that he is periodically checking his data pad for a bunch of sensors that he has around the place, either from drones or sensors that he's planted, and he keeps checking to make sure that there's no one sort of moving in on your position. He then presses a few buttons, brings up an image of this person, and then he'll show you the data pad. So he says, "This is Catalana Wren. She is a diplomat from the planet Naboo, and she is our contact. Fortunately, her escape pod was not destroyed, and she was taken on board the Ashfall. However, it would appear that the Ashfall suffered significant damage itself when engaging the pirates, and it has moved to the Stellara system and is currently undergoing some repairs at Starhaven Station. We have learned that ISB agents have arrived at Starhaven Station to question passengers in regards to the Crimson Corsairs attack. They believe that they are trying to ascertain their motive for the attack. If the ISB agents learn of Catalana's support of our cause, it could be very detrimental to our efforts. She is privy to very sensitive information. What I need your team to do is rescue Catalana from Starhaven Station before ISB agents dig too deep.
Won't rescuing her, make it look pretty obvious that she's involved?
Perhaps. The alternative, if you cannot rescue her, then he calls Luck over. He says, particularly to Luck, he says, I need you to take out the asset if you cannot rescue her.
Understood.
It's vitally important that she not undergo an ISB interrogation. And Bosco, you probably would have heard that, but you can see that Kalen has directed that to Luck.
Okay. Not very happy about it, but Bosco's a little bit darker now, in his outlook on life and what needs to get done. So he doesn't say anything. But I would like to roll a body language roll, if I can, just to see, what I can perceive from Kalen Brie as he's telling us all this.
Sure, go ahead.
If possible. It's at default, but I'd like to try to start using that skill.
Okay. You will be able to see from his body language that he is, I guess, indifferent. It's all about the mission, sort of thing. He doesn't portray any sort of emotion either way. It's like, this is the mission. It has to be done.
Okay. Kind of, it's what he was expecting.
He says, we have two complications, however. Getting to Starhaven Station is problematic in that only ships with authorized transit codes are permitted to dock at the station and leave. Without a transit code, it is possible that any approaching craft may be fired on and destroyed. We also don't know where exactly Catalana Wren is being held at Starhaven Station.
Is this station like an Imperial type of station, or is it, what is it exactly?
He says no. The station is somewhat independent. It is run by a syndicate of sorts of free traders.
Vasco says he looks over at Luck, and he says, I know somebody that another ship captain, he might have access to the station. Sometimes he's hard to find, though.
Right.
In answer to your previous question, if rescuing Catalana would draw attention on her, then come up with some plausible way to get her out of there without drawing that attention.
Do you have a ship for us to use?
When your team is ready and assembled, you'll travel with me to a nearby contact of mine. We will have a mission brief there. Well, a further mission brief there. This is, of course, time sensitive, There are a number of passengers I'm sure the ISB are going to question. Whether Catlana has already been questioned or not, we are not certain. The longer we wait, the more chance we risk that she's interrogated and ISB agents dig deeper. Unless you have any questions, then do what you need to and get your team assembled and meet me. And he tells you on the surface in Fortitude Valley. I'll be waiting there with my ship.
Right. Now we got to figure out a plan.
Yep. It's
You
a long
have,
shot, but I do know somebody.
Do you have any questions of Kalen at this point?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. My first thinking is like if they know anything more about these pirates, because I'm kind of wondering if we can shift some further blame on them.
Well, Kalen says, we do know a little about the Crimson Corsairs. And you'll see he'll flick through his data pad. Again, he checks the sensors, pausing for a minute, then he clicks away, and then he scrolls through his database, just like the GM. He says, the Crimson Corsairs are a rather notorious band of pirates. They are known for ruthless tactics and a number of audacious raids. They are led by an enigmatic captain, Raal Tarak. They have been a thorn in the side of law enforcement and the Stellar trade for years.
Interesting.
He says they appear to be well equipped. They have skilled pilots and advanced contemporary weaponry. How they fund their operations, not quite known. At least to my sources.
Well, they probably steal it from everybody. Would potentially like an area knowledge for Phantine or a streetwise role give me more information on the Crimson Corsairs?
Give me a streetwise roll. You only have like surface information, but you do know that you have seen some elements, or have at least heard of some elements of the Crimson Corsairs coming and going to Phantine. Their area of operation is fairly large and it sort of crosses several sectors. Though, as far as you're aware, they don't have any like formal operations here.
Did you say how large of an operation they were?
They are fairly big, at least covering a number of sectors in the area.
Does the GM recommend any questions we haven't thought of?
Not that I can think of.
Well, so Bosco is asking, to be clear, we're meeting with Kalen Brie once we have our team together. Is he planning on providing a ship and then we have to figure out how to get there, or is he going to get us there?
He says, I'll transport you there. Well, I'll transport you to another contact. We're to meet with Captain... let me find his name. Captain Matano. We will brief further there, and your transport to Starhaven Station will be organised from there. For reasons of security, I'd like to distance myself from anything that you do. Hence why I will pick you up in Fortitude Valley.
How far away is that from where we're at?
It's not too far. It will be a bit of a speeder trip, sort of half an hour, but it is you will know that you'll need sort of rebreathers and stuff if you're going to be there long term.
Well, certainly hope not. Right. Okay. Well, we need to get the gang together and start hashing out something of a plan. Hopefully, more than 12% of a plan.
Oh, we can manage 10% at least.
Can we?
Yeah, probably.
We need to find either like some sort of quote unquote legitimate reason to be on the station, or some way to get there covertly.
You will
What kind of
need.
station did you say it was? Short version?
He didn't say.
So I guess we need to find out what they do there, so we'll know what a legitimate reason to be there is.
So Kalen will say, if there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. And when you're ready, join me in Fortitude Valley. Kalen will then walk to one end of the warehouse. You see that he will collect a couple of sensors that he's placed. He'll walk to the other side, collect some more sensors, and then he'll give you a guy nod and vacate the warehouse. Vampire style.
Right. Okay.
So I'm thinking our meeting code word is doing inventory.
Nice.
Bosco and Luck,
We need to
you
do inventory.
you decide to leave the warehouse and do inventory.
Sounds that way. Got to get everybody together and let them know we're leaving the planet.
Cue the
Possibly
A-Team
gonna
music.
die.
No, it's not time for the A-Team music.
I wonder
it's
if
the
Daryl
A-Team
might have
montage
some
music.
experience.
No, you don't get the A-Team montage music until you're stuck in the shed with the power tools.
Fair enough.
You were gonna say something there, Giger?
Nah.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
That'd be all right.
Right. So I guess we need to find out what's up with the station and all that.
Does make me wonder how luck contributes to that sort of thing.
He will say, "Get me that information," and walk off to drink some coffee. Well, I do have intelligence analysis, so once I have the information, I can sit there and look
Yeah.
at look at all the stuff and put things together.
Well, I'm wondering if, basic research role, I'm sure that, we can find out the nature of
Yeah.
the station and kind of go from there, unless it's like hidden, a secretive place.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's some sort of equivalent to a public library here that Luck could get into.
Why would I do it? I
Not
don't
that
have
he has to do
research.
it.
I delegate people who actually have the skill and capability to do that. Right. So get everybody read in. See if
All right, so we
anybody
just-
knows stuff about the location.
We just send out the call for doing inventory, and we show up and get the
Did we-
briefing.
Did we determine that your headquarters was going to be one of the abandoned warehouses of Bosco's family?
I don't think we determined somewhere else was it.
See, this is perfect. This is totally where luck is like probably crashing too.
I
Yeah,
like
maybe.
it. It does
Well,
remind
then
me
it's
of
then it's protected at
arrow.
least.
Yeah, let me disable all the explosives. I had those 8 thermal detonators. Right. So does any of the other PCs that are space-based know anything about this particular station?
Right. So we're here. We've been briefed. Now what do we know?
If you have area knowledges, you are welcome to make rolls.
Is
We has
knowledges.
so is Daryl with you guys, or is he coming into this later?
Yep.
Well, area knowledge is appropriate to the system, so I'll use Phantine, but at penalties. Success by 2 will tell you that the Stellara system is nearby
Right.
nearby Phantine. It is some 500, I think 500 parsecs from Phantine.
Nearby.
How long of a
can
hyperspace jump is that typically?
Yeah, who knows?
It's a
Star
screen
Wars.
change, or is it
It's
an
a screen.
actual montage?
Well, I guess you guys can have a planning montage. So it depends if it's going to be a montage or a screen change. It happens at the speed of plot.
Is there any information that Tina can get, like, from looking on, I guess, whatever network or something?
You can make a research roll if you've got it.
Like a Google search.
Okay, she does not have research. Is there a default?
IQ -5.
Success by 1.
Nice. All right, you will start. You'll go to a sort of public library and check out Space Bing. You will find out that the Stellara system is a trinary system. There are 3 stars. There are no habitable worlds. However, Starhaven Station is built into an asteroid. It serves as something of a free trade hub. It currently, while it's still in the Imperial sort of occupation zone, the Empire don't give enough care to police it or, apply any sort of jurisdiction on them. So they operate relatively independently. I guess you could think of it as kind of like Bespin. It's allowed to do its thing without much Imperial interference.
Until they alter the deal.
Until they alter the deal, yes. I suppose. No, I'll wait to show you the picture till later.
Okay, so in all the research, does Tina find anything interesting that is about to happen there? Like any notable people that are going to be stopping by, rock concert, anything like that that we could kind of go in under the umbrella of something that's really hyped?
It's not normally the thing that sort of happens there. But let's have the universe decide. Roll a universe reaction. On a very good or better, there is some big public event. Actually, we'll say on a good or better.
Boba Fett and the assassin droids are touring.
That's the power converters.
They're opening for Boba Fett and the assassin droids.
Okay, it's rolled. It's good.
Yeah, that's the time for rolling Mel dice.
Uh-huh.
All right, there is something of a thing with the Stellar system. There is an asteroid cluster known as the Twilight Veil. This cluster is shrouded in an eternal haze that gives it a sort of hauntingly but beautiful appearance. The Twilight Veil asteroids, they emit a soft, shimmering glow in sort of twilight hues. The asteroids themselves are said to contain rare and valuable minerals. They do attract prospectors and miners from various corners of the galaxy. However, the Twilight Veil is not without risks. The haze surrounding the cluster distorts navigational systems, and it makes it challenging to navigate this asteroid field. Tourists do, from time to time, come to visit this phenomenon.
Probably researchers as well.
Yes.
Right.
So that potentially gives us a few reasons that we could be there. We could be prospective miners, tourists, or try to pass ourselves off as researchers. I know, right?
Flip a 3-sided coin.
So how will Nim look with a Hawaiian shirt on?
Not unusual.
Right. And then we also, I guess we have to get some sort of transit code thing.
That's to sort of approach and dock at Starhaven Station.
Is that something that would be difficult to get?
You're not
Or,
entirely
you know-
sure. You assume that there's probably some legitimate avenues that you could go through, sort of like applying for a visa, something of that sort. But you imagine that that would require time and sort of official channels.
Well, I wonder if we were a quote unquote tourists or researchers and we just booked passage as passengers, would that just be, you know, the ship captain would be responsible for getting us there? Or do we need to do something different? Tour searchers. Um,
Well,
You,
then
you
there's
could,
always-
of course, still visit the Twilight Vale without having to stop at Starhaven Station.
But we got to get on the station to rescue the chick.
Correct.
There's always also the tried and true method of, hey, space station, we're having a major issue here with our engine. We need to dock to make sure we don't die out here.
That's always a winner.
well, I have a potential solution. I know this ship captain who does a little bit of smuggling on the side. He might be able to get us there potentially.
Tell him that his old friend Bosco is here to see him. Then they open fire on you.
He's a semi-reliable contact that I've known for a few years.
Is there
Okay.
any particular planning that you want to do on Phantine itself?
Yes, I would like to get the schematics of the station.
That may be difficult.
That would require a really good research role.
And a
you
list
don't
of
know if
all
you
the
don't try.
major personnel on board the station that we know about.
All right, give me that research role.
Who did you say had the asset?
Say again.
ISB.
Well, you were told that the passengers of the Serenity Star, or surviving passengers on the Serenity Star, were moved to the Starhaven Station while the Ashfall undergoes repairs. The ISB later turned up and began an investigation into
Right.
the motive for this, because it's very non-typical of pirates to seek to destroy destroy a passenger liner without
Right.
taking hostages and ransoms and cargo and stuff.
So, would Bosco have any sort of Imperial contacts?
Yeah, so what I
Or
was thinking, I have Nova set contacts. They might
that's a
have
maybe.
some sort of database on that station.
Well, I wasn't thinking of the station layout so much as do we have any, or can we get hold of any Imperial comm traffic regarding the situation over there? I suppose that's something could be hacked.
Well, it takes time, but I don't have a specific contact, but I do have, like, we can use the skills to find somebody with the streetwise and networked perk.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
Would-
thinking out loud here. Okay, so they're not actually in custody necessarily. They're just being questioned, and they're just Sitting around waiting for the ship to get fixed.
No, the ISB is coming there though.
Well, the
Right.
ISP are already there.
So under ideal conditions, we would just make contact with the asset and offer to get her out of there. Now that's assuming the ISB wouldn't interfere. That is
Right.
also assuming that the ISB hasn't taken her into custody, and we just don't know about that yet.
Right.
All possibilities. Some of these things you're obviously not going to learn until you actually get there, and then you'll have to do some like streetwise or gather
Disregard that.
information.
Oh, yeah, you haven't set that up right.
I'm trying to set up my frequency rolls.
Yeah, remember you got to open it up and enter the
Not on
amount.
other, do you? Oh yeah, I guess you do. Base level. Yeah, when I did that with, I want to say it was who did I have those contacts with? I think it was Frey. It was in the Shadowrun. I would have contact parentheses or no, contact, and then I'd have the name, and then I'd have parentheses, and I'd say availability, and that would be like the 9 or less or whatnot. And then I would say have another one, contact, same name, and then parentheses would be skill level. So I'd have
that's
two.
a much shorter word than frequency of appearance.
Oh, availability?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of wondering if this particular game isn't going to go in a direction where we might benefit from having one of those contact lists.
Yeah.
Like we did for Shadowrun.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Definitely.
note.
Yeah, I think somebody just made a note.
That was me.
Right. So I'm just thinking from the standpoint of what sort of planning / equipping do we need to do before we get on the ship. And so we don't actually know if we're going to have to break her out of anything. But given the way these things typically go, just plan on worst case scenario, we got to break her out of jail.
This is a Star Wars campaign. Of course, there's going to be some B&E.
I don't know if Daryl or Tiny have any contacts.
Yet.
Tiny does not.
Daryl does not either.
Daryl.
I've
Well,
also
and-
got Kalen Brie officially as a contact.
Yeah.
So, anything particular that you need to do while here on Phantine? Or can we do
Well,
potential planning?
I want to know. Bosco really wants to know. He learned his lesson from the prequel. He needs to have at least a basic layout of the station, and then he would be interested in knowing, who's the major NPCs or leadership for that live there or work there.
Yeah, actually, Nim is going to go get a virtual tutor or some informational programming relating to the phenomenon. What that would be
Research?
planetology. That would be.
It would still be a research role.
No, I don't mean for research. I mean to have it on hand to take the place of a skill.
Right, but we don't want to get bogged down in trying to do too much of the research here because we're not going to get a whole lot of the info. So we'll probably want to do the initial quick, what we can here, gather our kit, and then move on to link up with Kalen. And ideally, we can get some more intel along the way. I'm just wondering if we can find a way to blame it all on the pirates.
The other system was Stellara.
Yeah, Stellara system.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do is virtual tutor area knowledge Stellara.
Okay. Let's see if this works.
Anytime a GM says that in Fantasy Grounds, I expect Fantasy Grounds to just crash.
Alright, do you see a little pin there?
Yep. Can't do anything with it.
It's not clickable.
Doesn't seem to be, not for me.
Maybe I need to share. Is it clickable now?
Yes. Right. So let us go, I guess. And this Stellara is where the whole mess happened that ended up getting what's her face captured.
No, it wasn't.
Just
This
happened to be
this
the
is
closest.
closest place to get repairs.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. So let's kit up and go meet dude and get on the. Well, I don't want to say get on the road because that's not right.
So I guess we get up for light combat.
Yeah, sure. And I look pretty much the same as I normally do.
Yeah.
I will get. How are you going to get to Fortitude Valley?
Evidently, we need a speeder of some sort.
You will all have a means of transport, with the exception of Lux, since he used all his starting wealth.
Well, technically, I have a means of transport. I have a jetpack.
That's true. Do we want to arrive separately? Do we have a problem with being seen
Well,
going together?
Is this location actually it's on the ground?
It's on the ground, so no
if
one's going to be
we-
there.
Yeah,
Or no
well,
one
but
should
if
be there.
But if we arrive separately, that means we're going to be leaving a bunch of vehicles out in the open where they're
That's true.
exposed for however long. So we need a beat up, crappy. We don't give a damn what happens to this thing because it's mostly derelict anyway. Like something that's in
Actually,
a junkyard.
yeah, I was gonna say actually let me handle that. I can have Bull take it back.
All right, so you're going to travel together.
Sounds that way.
I'll pick people up, I guess.
All right, so
Can we
I'll
take an
need
Uber?
a group stealth roll, from a sort of group leader. This will represent how unnoticed you are as you go about your business, picking people up and then making your exit into the wastelands.
So that's the standard. Just a stealth check.
It's
I mean-
stealth plus.
Do you want to do like an average group stealth or
No, I
just
think
the best
it's
stealth?
+1 for every person with this stealth skill, and -1 for
Who
everyone
does
that
not
doesn't
have
have it.
stealth? Does everybody have stealth?
I
Yes.
has it.
Yep.
So it'd be
I do.
plus
What about
4.
Bosco? Do you have stealth?
Yeah, 14.
All right.
Actually 13. Bosco will also do. Can he do an observation? He's
Success
scanning
by
around.
5.
What was Bosco going to do?
He's just alert. He's observation.
All right, you're welcome to make a roll.
Is anybody looking at us more than they should?
As far as you can tell, as you go about your business picking up people and such, no one really is paying attention, and you will make your exit from Minerva, heading towards the surface and then on to Fortitude Valley. Your speeder ride, everyone's going to be wearing rebreathers. I'm going to assume that that's standard kit for everyone, since the environment you live in.
Stands to reason.
Let's have a. Oh, damn it! Don't have the weather table. Someone roll 3d6. Let's see if there's toxic rain.
Do you guys normally say the numbers out loud? I don't know, like for the viewers, people that are
Just
listening
I
and not
try
watching.
to, but I'm always forgetting.
just say success by 5 or fail by 5. No need to give the actual result or the dice roll. 14. That's going to be good weather. So no acid rain. Whoever's driving the speeder, give me a roll. I assume that's going to be Darl.
No, actually,
Yeah, well.
it's Nim's speeder.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What skill would that fall under?
It's probably going to be piloting contragrav
Wow. Gonna
or
be like that.
speeder. You
Well,
crashed.
this is
Nick,
routine.
can you slow down?
Fail by 3. You crashed. We died. See you guys next week with a new game.
Awesome season.
I think the SR is going to be more than 3 on a speeder.
Why are we rolling? Was
This is just routine.
The GM
yeah.
was
Then if it's just routine, then I made it by 1.
the GM was crit hunting.
I
Mhm.
assumed that was the case.
So how is Darl spelt? Is it Darl
How was Darl?
or pronounced? Sorry.
Darl.
So we can have like Walking Dead Darl memes.
Or you can call him Daril at your risk.
Short speeder ride. You will head into the valleys below. There is the noticeable thick, heavy air. Some of it is very much like a sort of heavy fog, and then you have clear patches that sort of blow through the valley. You will see Kalen's ship parked in the valley off to the side. The lights are off, but when you arrive, you will see the gangplank. I don't know what you call it.
I know we sort of
Ramp.
like
The ramp.
fast forwarded to
That's
this area, but I did want to try out my contacts for some of that information earlier, if it's still possible.
Sure.
Even if it's a failure, just because he's trying to develop his contacts.
All right. So which contacts and what do you hope to get from each contact as you make the roll?
So from the NovaSec officer, he's gonna be like, hey, look into your computer files there. Do you have any maps or plans, layout of the station?
Okay, make a roll.
That's what he's gonna try to get. All right, so let me see. Availability 9 or less. He fails by 2, so couldn't get a hold of NovaSec.
Dude saw your identity on the call waiting and said, "No, I'm not even gonna answer that. Not today."
He does try the ship captain, and he will ask him the same question. Maybe he's been to the station and he either has the plans available, or he can like draw me a sketch or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably been there a few times.
All right. What's his skill level?
12. So rolling against a 12, failure by 3. Somewhat reliable.
He will tell you he doesn't have that sort of information. He says the station is built. He has been there on the odd run. Usually he's done it through a particular contact that has sort of chartered him to move some goods, and in doing that has given him a transit code. So his employer has provided a transit code for him to dock at the station. Says it's built onto the surface of the asteroid. It is very multinational, so you've got people from all races and such. It says last time he was there, there was no Imperial presence, but unfortunately he can't give you any detail better than that. He certainly has no sort of floor plans or anything.
I was going to ask, is there any chance we can get a access code from him, or how can I get one besides his employer?
He says, not sure. With a failure by 3, unfortunately, I don't have anything useful, but you could possibly make some streetwise rolls and see if you can find someone willing to forge, or you know, you could bribe for some transit codes.
Okay.
But he
let me
doesn't
throw-
have any specific people you can contact or anything like that.
So I have a perk called Network, which is a +2 on those kinds of roles whenever it's something like illegal, nefarious, underground.
Does that cover all regions, or is it specific to a region?
It just covers the activity. It doesn't specify like location. It just says, whenever you're trying to find something that's illegal or not, not above board, it's a +2.
Where was that?
It's social engineering. I can find the page number.
Sorry,
In a
I
minute.
probably already got it open.
It's called In the
Oh,
Know.
it's in
It's
social
network
engineering.
In the Know. Because you have to specialize by type. So I would propose that I use my streetwise role, but then I would get a +2.
Oh, okay. No, this isn't that. So this would be if you were looking for a guy that you didn't already have as a contact.
Which I am, right? Isn't that what he said?
Oh, okay, I see where you're going with that. Yes, then that probably would work.
He said he couldn't help me, but maybe I could use my streetwise to find somebody.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
All right, so do you want to do that on Phantine or potentially elsewhere?
I think Fantine is where I'm at. Otherwise, where else? I don't know where
Well, you
else I
could
would
wait
do
till
it.
you get there and do it there.
Then if we're there, then I would need it because we're already there. I'm not. I guess I'm. I thought we
You
need this
would
access code to get to the station.
Oh,
you would
right.
assume that if you wanted to try we're having some engine troubles, we need to dock and repair. You assume that might work, but then you would be sort of quarantined. You won't be able to leave and do stuff, or you might have to pay some bribes. Who knows?
We know it worked at least once.
Whack some dudes.
But of course, transit codes will give you unrestricted access or
Well, let me
legitimate
just roll
access.
for it. I'll just go for it. I don't want to spend like too much on this one, but I
All right,
think
streetwise.
he would try. Yeah, and he would probably do it in Fantine before he left because that's probably where most of his network would be.
You doing it on your own, or is there anyone assisting?
No reason you can't get help.
Yeah, if anybody has some way that they think they can help me contact the underworld.
I got Streetwise. I can at least throw an assist in.
Yeah, it gives me a +1 if you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go for it. Nice.
Or a +2 since you margin credit by 10. Nice.
Yeah, I know a guy.
All right, let's see if he's available. So ability, what is it? Skills.
Streetwise.
What?
Plus
Wow,
24.
that's a +24.
I think I added some bonus there. Oh, I tried to add
Just
the
a little bit.
+4 and I had a +2 already.
All right, so that would have been a succeed by 8.
By 8,
But
yeah.
we'd like to succeed by 28 better.
Oh, sorry.
So actually, no. What bonus did you have? +2, and so it would be
I added +2
succeed by
for
8.
Right, but he had the
networking,
network.
and then +2 for the
Yeah,
assist.
so succeed by 8. All right. Well, you do ask around, and Bosco and Nim, you will be given a name. A guy who goes by the name of Hobbs.
God, I was about to say it better not be Hubs. I just remembered a guy I know is Hubs.
Oh my God, you mean the cantina owner?
Yeah.
We should have thought of that sooner. Well, let's see if we can we just kind of say that he helps us, or do you want us to role play it out?
Oh, yeah. No, I can get you a meeting at least.
All right. So you will head to Hobbs Cantina.
And Jim's like, I've made this character. I'm gonna get some damn use out of it.
Yeah, I need mileage on him. So you're not allowed to kill him. Right, so you head to Hobbs' Cantina. You'll get a meeting with Hobbs when Zim or Nim, when you sort of show up. It's good to see you again, Nim. I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it either.
Says,
This is my good friend Bosco. He helped us out with that thing the other day.
I suppose some
You-
thanks are in order then.
He wanted to ask you about some tickets.
Tickets? Explain, how can I help? What sort of tickets are you after?
I
You
don't
see,
know what
he
our-
will go behind the bar as you're talking, and he will actually pour some drinks himself. He doesn't ask you what you want. He'll just, pour some spirits into some glasses for you, and then slide them to each of you.
It's Lum.
I don't know what the typical code for getting to the proper information here, but I will use it.
So Nim is going to be the one that's requesting this information, or is Bosco doing the talking?
I'm just making the introduction.
Yeah, I think Nim can make the introduction. Bosco's gonna pull out, the cred chips, maybe like whatever the appropriate amount might be, 1% of the cost of living or something like that, and kind of slide it over discreetly. He would like to use his charisma and maybe merchant skill to get a good reaction roll out of him as he makes the request.
All right, so it wouldn't be merchant that you use in this situation. It would be streetwise. So you can use streetwise as an influence roll for good reaction.
All right, so rolling streetwise again, success by 3. If I add, do you want me to do a reaction roll, or am I just doing an influence roll?
No, that's what you're doing streetwise for, is for an influence roll.
Okay.
Or you can substitute streetwise for a reaction roll.
Then it's a success by 5 if I can use my charisma on him. The charisma 2.
Because you're a likable fellow.
Yeah. So plus I slid him some money. I'm sort of thinking that might be the appropriate procedure.
So he slides the drinks of Lum to each of you. He takes the credits, counts them, sort of puts them behind the bar, and then he slides back your change, which just happens to be exactly the same amount that you paid. He says, what exactly do you need?
In a very, so not, so I want to give him the information. We're going to be going to the, was it the Starfall station? I forget. And we need to be able to get on board legitimately. So we need some access codes. We think you might be able to help us.
They were
Transit codes
I think.
to get on the Starhaven station.
As you sort of begin to talk, anyone that's within sort of earshot, he will shoo them away, and without hesitation, those people will get up and leave their spot. He says, transit codes for Starhaven. He says, I can organise that. What sort of business do you have there? Perhaps we could help each other. I have some contacts there. We could maybe do some business.
Bosco will glance over at Nim and kind of be like, I don't know how much I should tell him or not. I don't know him as well as you.
Little as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there to visit a friend. I give him a wink.
A friend. I see. Well,
yeah, I'm sure you understand. Some people like to be discreet.
Nimble adds sort of with his hand to one side of his mouth, it's a girl.
you will see that he just sort of nods, but clearly his body language is like, yeah, no, I don't believe you at all. A girl, hey? Sure, I can arrange a transit code for you. Let's call this one on the house. your money's no good here.
This one's free.
He says, perhaps you can do me a favour somewhere down the track. Your family is, Bosco, he says, your family, they are, and he'll rattle off whatever your family business is called. Is that correct?
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, I mean that would have been maybe part of my charm and charisma and reputation, all that good stuff going on. Yeah, obviously my uncle Andreas runs the family, but if it's anything that I can help you with, I would be more than happy to do so.
He says, I'm sure there is. One moment. Enjoy your drinks. He will disappear out back and return a little later with a hollow crystal. He says, these are legitimate codes. They should get you what you need.
Oh, I was hoping
Can
you
I
were
do-
gonna. We totally, like Captain Button said, we absolutely need, the whole. It's an old transit code, sir, but it checks out.
Well, we haven't got there yet.
But he said they're legitimate.
Older codes are legitimate. Also, he's not very trustworthy.
Okay,
He
I'll
says,
give you that.
well, I hope your visit with this girl goes well. And when you're back, we'll talk some business, yes?
Yeah, when we get back, I'll come down and we'll have some drinks, talk shop.
He gives Nim a look. He says, it's good to be working with you again, Nim.
Good to see you, Hubs.
You will leave and fast forward back to Fortitude Valley, where you will board Kalen's ship and depart.
Can I take a quick break, guys? Sorry.
Sure. Let's take a 5-minute break then.
Roger 5.
All right,
Going
thank
on
you.
break. We're back.
Yay!
I don't feel back.
All right. So once you tuck away your speeder into a secluded spot, you can.
No, he's having the droid take it back.
Oh, that's right. Bull will take the speeder back to.
It's all yours, Bull.
Good luck, sir.
Does Tina have a robot too?
She's supposed to, but I've been a slacker and I haven't gotten it drawn up yet.
It's currently undergoing some repairs.
She took, one servo brain out and she was replacing it with another one. So it's in her apartment, half disassembled.
What is it actually supposed to be?
Not sure yet. I just picked it up as
Unspecified
a
ally
yeah.
type.
Yeah, I just picked up an ally 75% of starting points.
Maybe we should hive mind that.
I halfway expect her to end up stealing Lux droid because he doesn't even have he hasn't even given it a nickname. It's just, hey, droid.
You should treat your droids nicer.
It's equipment.
This bit of equipment has feelings.
This one doesn't. It's been like jury rigged and repaired and blown apart, and
He goes beep beep. Meow.
actually I'm not even sure if it makes any noises.
All right, so if you want, oh no, you don't need a camouflage. Speeder takes off, and before long, you'll feel the Kalen's ship rock, and you begin to navigate the valley a little before you begin to head for orbit. And while you're waiting for a little bit, then you will see Phantine in the rear view mirror moments before you enter light speed. If there's anything that you wish to communicate with, or any planning that you wish to undertake, en route or communicate with Kalen, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, we'll just have a planning montage and you will arrive at your destination.
Well, loosely, we could be. I mean, we're kind of, a couple of us are sort of techies, I guess, with Tina and me with the medical, or we could be, tourists, and we're stopping on the station before we go to the asteroid, the Twilight Veil.
Yeah, we should establish the story and probably establish some security procedures when we get there, but we're going to be winging it a lot. Yeah, so tourist, prospector, or researcher, or something else we didn't think of already. Tourist is probably just fine. We're kind of a hodgepodge anyway.
Anything further? Take that as a note.
What
Yeah.
did we actually learn about? I know I briefly stepped away to use the bathroom when we were discussing it. What is actually going on at the station? What is it? What's its purpose?
I know we tried to do some research on that. Did we actually find out?
I
No,
think
that's
I
right, it
wrote
was
it
a
down as a
transfer.
trade station.
Yeah.
A network?
It's a trade hub.
A trade hub,
Okay.
yeah.
Bespin.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so do we want to be more discreet, or do we just try to find the chick and make contact? Or do we just wait to see how many stormtroopers are there before we make a decision?
Yeah, probably need to get a lay of the land.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get there, Tina can hack into their system.
That's a possibility. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I
we're gonna
can't
have
remember
to find a way to escape by stealing somebody's ship.
Can't remember the quote about illegal actions in the beginning of the process.
Cool.
It'll be fine. I'm sure my dice won't screw us over.
Much.
Yeah, that's never happened before. All right.
Well, to be fair, we've had other people's dice screw us over at the very. I'm thinking of Nosh and the Conan game.
I'm right here.
The veil of hyperspace gives way to star streaks, and then everything comes to a standstill. And before you, you will see this out front of the viewport.
Hey, it's our new ship.
Kalen will announce his approach, and he's granted clearance. You'll also see next to the Corvette is flying a 2400 freighter.
Dash Rendar.
Kalen will dock with the airlock on the Corvette. You will all board, and you'll see sort of a hodgepodge crew of peeps going about their business. A few heads will turn as your new faces, and Kalen will take you to the bridge. On the bridge, you will see this gentleman. He will turn to see you enter the bridge. Kalen will say, "Captain, these are the people that I told you about. This here is Bosco.
He's clearly a rebel.
Luck.
He has a rebel symbol on his picture.
No, he doesn't. It's just his little
It's right there.
NPC interaction icon is green. This here is Luck, and Luck, you're still in your clone armor, I assume.
Yep. I'll be holding the helmet underneath his arm.
You will you'll see there's a sort of smile from this guy, and he says, "It's good to see another one of you clones. Not many of you left."
Not enough.
"Yes, sad, unfortunately." And he will actually lean forward and shake your hand. "Good to have you on board." Kalen will then say, "This here is Nim, Tina, and Darl."
Tina will kind of give him a little faint smile and like a little finger wave.
This is where, Nosh, you should play your growl sound.
I wish I had my phone beside me. I don't.
You need to set up a soundboard.
Got to be ready at a moment's notice.
He says, "Well, good to have you all on board. I'm sure Kalen has briefed you a little bit on the task at hand."
A bit, yep.
You see he goes over to one of the holo displays, punches a few buttons, and a holographic map of the sector will sort of appear. He will sort of zoom in and zoom in onto the Stellara system, and you'll see on the map it is designated. You see three stars make up the system. He will go through the same sort of detail, the same sort of information that Kalen gave you, and then he'll say, "I've organised a friendly to transport you to Starhaven Station. Unfortunately, we have not been able to secure any transit codes, so that still is a complication at the moment."
Shouldn't be a problem. Is that right, Bosco?
That's right. And I give him my most charming smile and show him the hollow cubes.
Do you have the little swing off the teeth as you smile?
The little sparkle.
He says, "Excellent. That's a relief. I hope these codes are good."
Ooh, you and me both, Captain.
Well, we'll find out.
Foreshadowing. He will press a button on the intercom. He says, "Kira, to the bridge."
Oh, God. Not Akira.
Yeah, those are never good.
As you guys are sort of talking over, general discussions of the mission, you will be joined by this person.
Oh, Kira. I thought you said Akira. I was like, oh, no, it's going to be a Japanese kid, and he's going to blow our brains off, with his mind.
Kira, I'd like you to meet these people, and she will introduce herself. Kira Thalos, the YT that you saw on the way in, that's my ride. You will all introduce yourselves, and then the sort of brief will go on. The captain says, "I've arranged for Kira to join you on this mission. She will get you to Starhaven Station and hopefully off again. She's one of us. She can be trusted with any information that you find."
Is she the captain of the freighter?
She looks at you and gives you a bit of a scowl and says, "Of course I am. That's my girl." Nice.
And perfectly timed. We approve.
That could be worth bonus points. So, is there anything further? Oh, sorry. I haven't told you. The captain will give you a communicator. He says, "We are on standby nearby. We will light speed into the system and engage the Ashfall, which is undergoing repairs. Fortunately for us, most of her crew are on board the station, and she's in a service mode. We should be able to inflict a fair bit of damage, and it won't be too much of a problem to go head to head with her. Our intention is to create as much of a distraction as possible. We'll stay as long as we need to, and then we will depart. Hopefully this will give you enough cover, or a potential cover, in the event it's needed.
What kind of class is the Ashfall?
He will bring up on the holo. Let me move some images around.
You do things so weird.
Why is that?
Because my first the way I do it is, if I know a bunch of images are going to be shown, I create a new story and then do the links, so I have that story open where I can just click it and share it.
Yeah, I've done that before, but I'm lazy. So he will bring up a hollow image, and you see there's a ship that will sort of animate from a top view, side view, front view, back view, and it just keeps rotating.
One of those.
Haven't seen one of those in a very long time.
I assure you, they are a tough nut to crack when captained by the right crew. She definitely outclasses us, however. Fortunately, as I said, she's undergoing repairs and will be vulnerable.
Say what you will about the Empire, but they make pretty ships. I like the triangle look.
They do look cool.
Right. Okay, so that's a command cruiser. That's the Imperial version. I was thinking of the Republic version, the light cruiser, which is, was around during the Clone Wars.
Well, I think all the command cruisers were refitted. I think they're refitted cruisers.
It is a reworking of the light cruiser.
He says they do have a complement of TIE fighters, so no doubt they will be doing their patrols. Or was it combat air patrols? They will have a cap. On your approach to the station, assuming your trade codes are good, and you keep your distance, I don't think you'll attract any attention, and they'll leave you alone. As to what level of control the Empire has exerted on Starhaven Station, that I am uncertain, and we still do not know the location of Catalana Ren. Hopefully you can use whatever sources you have available to your team to ascertain that. We are certain that she is not on board the Ashfall.
Okay. Well,
So, are there any questions? He will hand the communicator or the beacon to Luck. He says, I think it's 20 minutes. When you activate this beacon, you'll have 20 minutes before we arrive. If you don't activate it, we won't show.
Understood.
And we're only going to stick around as long as we need to. I don't want to endanger this ship any more than necessary. Of course, if we engage, the defense fleet of Starhaven Station will no doubt also involve themselves in an engagement to remove us from the system. So we will not have a great deal of time.
Never do.
Is there any questions?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. Anyone else?
Is the defense, the security force, are they like your standard stormtrooper type?
No, they're going to be station security.
Starhaven Station is, well, normally they're not occupied by the Empire. They maintain their own station security. However, with the Ashfall undergoing repairs, much of the crew will be on board the station. So, the situation there, at the moment, I'm not certain. If I was to hazard a guess, the Empire will, not involve themselves in the local running of things unless there is problems. But they will be present.
Well, good news. Those command cruisers, they've only got a crew of 750.
The captain will sort of shrug.
Okay, well,
He says, I guess discretion is key, at least until we stir up the hornets.
in Star Wars, it has to be some sort of other thing, not a hornet.
The Minox.
I guess that works.
Yeah, until we stir up the Minox nest
Yeah, that'll work.
or the Rotwing's nest. No, I like Minox nest. That's nice. We have just determined that Minox have nests.
And you do not wish to stir them.
You do not. They'll chew on the power cables.
Captain says, well, if there's nothing else, we best not waste time. Good luck to you, and may the force be with you. Which is probably a phrase you haven't heard in a little while. Or at least in Luck's case.
Not an open conversation anyway.
Good times. All right, let's get it on.
Kira will say, people, this way. She will lead you up, and she seems to be a fairly talkative individual. She starts asking all sorts of questions about you guys. So, what's your gig? Where you from?
I'm gonna give her a look, like, where do you think I'm from?
Well, she says, it's been a long time. I don't know where you call home now,
Home.
if you have such a thing.
Have you been on this station before?
She will ask you to make a universe reaction roll.
That is an odd thing for her to
Wow,
say.
that is a very odd thing to ask. Apparently not.
She says, no, not a place that I've visited.
That's too bad.
You will board her ship. I think I actually have.
And immediately steal it from her.
Oh. She says, any one of you lot, a good co-pilot?
Daryl.
Oh my god.
He's so
That was
stereotypical.
Yes, full plan.
Yeah, I like the 2400s. Wow, floor plan. Like, maybe we're going to get into a fight in here.
Oh,
I
wait.
got a bad feeling about this. Sorry,
Go.
let me do that right. I got a bad feeling about this.
You can't. There's no hex map.
Hey, you never let me get away with that.
Yeah, I really like these boats.
It's completely ridiculous, but in a reasonably
Why?
good way.
Why is it ridiculous?
Because putting the cockpit on the side makes absolutely zero sense.
It's Star Wars. The cockpit's on the side of the Falcon.
And that makes zero sense.
Heretic.
I actually like the asymmetric ship designs of Star Wars.
It makes it unique. I mean, it looks good, but it's ridiculous. Why would you do that?
Because it looks cool.
Because they started a trend and people liked it, and no one bought the regular models. Now everyone wants the Tesla.
Actually, what's really interesting about these YT freighters is they are intentionally designed to be super modular.
It better have a big satellite dish on it too.
Where the satellite
Those
dish
aren't
is, there is a dual turbo laser.
Ooh, I like it even better. That's for shooting the cable company when they kind of try to come up and tell you, would you like to switch back to cable?
Has Tina divulged any information about herself in the sort of general chit chat?
Not really. No, I don't think so.
So she doesn't know that Tina's an engineer?
Unless it's obvious.
Like if there's like tools
Right.
hanging off her belt.
Yeah, sorry. I had a kid asking me a question. Did she say, is anybody an engineer?
Well, did Tina sort of divulge that information? Or does Tina obviously look like an engineer?
Actually, can Tina resist asking engineer questions about the ship?
Tina has a giant wrench that is looped on her belt, so I would say she probably looks like an engineer.
In pink.
Well, Kira says I haven't had a good engineer in a while. I've only had this astromech or R2 unit. Perhaps you can make yourself at home in engineering.
Tina will rub her hands together, say no more, and then stride off. And then she'll get a few steps away and they say, which way's engineering? I'll find it. Never mind. And just keeps going.
Yeah, it's not that big a ship.
Well, good luck getting it out of there.
I don't mind. I could do with a good engineer long term. She says, well, big fella looking at Dahl says, care to join me? And she will start heading to the cockpit. She will seat herself in one of the seats and Dahl in the other.
For the record, Nash, Runky is never going to stop doing that.
What did he just
He's
say?
gonna have way too
What
much
did he just
fun
call
with
me? Unfortunately,
that.
GM
Right,
doesn't.
I can't speak.
GM doesn't speak Shiri.
Yeah, Darrell will be more than happy to sit in beside her.
Does Kira speak Sherwook?
Let's have the universe decide. Since you asked the question, Nim, you can make the roll.
Well, at least it's not a super important question.
Nope.
She's never even heard it.
He's sitting there, yammering away in Sherwook, and she's like, just, really? Yeah. What?
She says, I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right. She begins pressing buttons, pulling levers. You will hear the freighter detach from the airlock, and you will begin to navigate away from the Corvette.
How bad is the engine?
All right, let's have a roll on your mechanic starship, or if you have the particular skill for engines, you're welcome to roll on that.
I was expecting him to ask for another reaction roll.
I've got hyperdrive, maneuver engine, starship, but they're all the same, so I'll just pick one.
Ooh, success by 3. That's pretty good.
They could do with some maintenance, but everything seems to be functional at the moment.
Okay.
There's, of course, a power converter that's probably well overdue a replacement, but at the moment it's still functional.
Okay, so Tina will go through and start making a mental list of things that need to be fixed and or replaced ASAP, possibly at this next station if we can.
So you hand her a parts list.
I do.
And
Nim's gonna kind of wander back in the generally engineering direction and be poking and pulling at panels and stuff and doing the murder
Great.
math on how he would tear this thing apart.
As you're walking around, you will also see that there is a turret.
So
it
it
does
good
have-
money for that.
It does have some defense capabilities and such. I don't know if any of you have gunner beams.
Yep. Yeah, Luck does.
Did I not? Yes, I did.
But Luck is also incurious, so he just doesn't care unless it's super relevant.
So Kira will tell the rest of you, make yourselves at home in the lounge. I've got a whole lot of lum in the fridge, and I think there's some leftovers there. It should be good.
And then Luck is immediately going to chime in and say, "Do not drink any of the lum. We're on mission here."
Kira will look at you and go, really? I guess
Really.
the boss has spoken. Either way, the lum's there. Maybe for on the trip home.
Better still be there.
She turns to Daryl, and says, could you plot us a course to the Stellaris system? Bring us in just outside of Starhaven Station.
So, is this going to be navigation space or navigation hyperspace?
Hyperspace.
Any mods on that?
No. You have, if you had an astromech, you'd get some bonuses, but you just have the normal navicom, which is required.
You know, it does occur to me that most of the other Star Wars games do actually have modifiers depending on when you're going. I don't think there's any major mods when you're, like mid-rim to mid-rim or something like that. But if you're plotting core worlds to outer rim, that's a bit more difficult.
That's right. There is a penalty to your rolls if you're not on a trade route. And I think I determined that as -2.
Interesting. Now, should I just wing it or should I be meticulous? How much time can I take to do this properly?
Take all the time you need. I'd rather not crash.
All right. Well, then Daryl will start to look over the electronic digital charts and make sure he knows exactly what he's plotting into the computer. Hoping I can offset those mods.
Yeah, -2. That's not that bad.
Computer get any bonuses?
Well, you need the computer, so computers are required.
Well, but it might be quality.
Unless you're a Jedi. I know one of the force powers in West End games. I think it was West End games. One of the force powers they had, whereas like you could actually, if you're a Jedi, you could calculate hyperspace coordinates in your head using the force.
Space and Guild it.
Yep.
Well, I definitely want to spend as much time as I need to not have those negative mods.
No. Well, she doesn't have an upgraded computer or anything like that. It's stock. So make your roll. You can get up to +5.
Fly through a star. End our trip real quick.
All right. What was that last bit there, GM?
You can get up to +5.
All right. I'll go with a plus. I'll go with a +3. How's that?
Okay. It's only critical fails that you want to avoid.
Assessed by 5.
All right, so you will be right on target. Can I get a engineering mechanic starship roll from Tina to make sure hyperdrive and all that is functional? All good.
Success by 6.
You're totally ripping off Traveler now.
Totally am. And she will say to Darl, I want the ship to go because that cracked me up.
What does she want?
It's from Star Trek. Spock says it. I want the ship to go.
A fan of that.
No, she says punch it.
Yeah, he punches it. Now the engine's broke.
Daryl punches it.
No, all is good. You get star streaks and you're gone. And unless you guys are doing anything in particular, you will arrive at your location, and I think that is a good place to leave it.
Actually, I think you would probably just end it with making the jump. Make the jump, and the circle follows us. We'll how the Star Wars does the circle fades.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it happens.
Then next week we open with the dropping out of light speed and crashing into another ship and exploding.
For a second there, I thought I saw the destination, but that wasn't real.
And that's where we'll leave it.
Cool.
Since we're at time, or a little over time.
All right.
2 points, everyone.
2 points.
Excellent.
Sweet.
Is there anyone spending any of their points right now?
I did spend one for the intimidation because I remembered that after you had mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, I do need that.
There was another one that you were surprised you didn't have as well. Was it tactics?
No, good God, no. I got tactics. I got that at 14.
I do recall there was something else. Or it might have been someone else that realised they didn't have a skill.
All right, cool. Cool.
Well, if there's nothing else, then if you are watching this, and if you have any questions, corrections, suggestions, or general hecklings, feel free to leave a comment here or find us on Discord. Please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube, Twitch, and podcast channels. Thank you for watching. Olympus out.
Good night.